Good afternoon. I'm really sort of overwhelmed by being in this room with these people. Before I speak about one of the people who overwhelms me, whom I've been honored to introduce, I just want to say, you know, when I was a boy, and as you can see, that was a while ago. When I was a boy, and I would come home from school, my mother would talk to me about like who you should emulate. And there's people in this room that she mentioned to me. Daniel Ellsberg, I don't recall her mentioning Ron Ridenhour's name, but I remember her talking about the man in the helicopter door. And clearly we are here gathered to commemorate those people. So, you know, the people who are in this room shaped me, and so I just want to note that. Secondly, I want to urge you to go to the event that the young man from Richard Montgomery High School asked you to attend tomorrow at 3:30 at the White House. My daughter Rosie will be there. And we should all be there too. So now to turn to really what I was asked to talk about. This prize is called the Truth-Telling Prize. And as I was looking through the book, I realized something about it, which is that it has been awarded largely to professionals, meaning people, military officers, analysts, people who had a kind of a calling and a duty that they found compelled them to take enormous risks on behalf of what they felt was right. It's never been awarded to an elected official. It's never been awarded to an elected official until today. And I think that that is a powerful, powerful thing, because we heard earlier this afternoon about the notion that one good man, and I note that that Emerson quote can make all the difference. But I think that's really much more powerful in a sense when one good woman, whom I'm about to introduce, is able to embody and encourage the best in a lot of people. And this type of courage and truth-telling in an elected official was fundamentally about moving the collective and about defining our society and answering the question in the affirmative that I think we often are asking today: are we a good country? When an elected official can lead and be the source of truth-telling, we are answering that question in the affirmative. Now, Mayor Carmen Yulín de la Cruz, who has always said to me whenever I see her, "That's Yulín. That's Yulín. That's not Mayor. That's not Mayor de la Cruz." She is a truth teller, I think, in a way known to all of you. I think pretty much everyone in this room has seen Yulín on TV, telling the truth about the agony of Puerto Rico. And I would just say to you that, remember, that agony is ongoing. It's ongoing. There are people without water and without power in Puerto Rico today who haven't had it since the storm. And a fiscal plan is about to be imposed literally within hours on the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico that will impoverish the people least able to be impoverished and will pay the people who least deserve to be paid. So we got to understand this is ongoing, but that from the beginning, Yulín was the truth teller about this. Now, that's what we were shown on TV. Now, I'm here, I think, because I can say something firsthand. Not something I saw on TV, but something firsthand about who Yulín is and what she did. We had, and this again comes back to this point of being our collective better selves. Really the 16 million people of the labor movement, many of whom are members of the Puerto Rican diaspora, desperately wanted to help and could not figure out how. We had hundreds of people who were ready to drop everything in their lives and go to Puerto Rico. We had an airplane, kindly donated by United Airlines, to get them there. But we faced the fundamental problem of what will happen when they get there. Who can, and anyone involved in disaster relief can tell you this is the basic problem. If you go into a disaster and you don't have an entry point, then you're adding to the problem. Yulene and her team worked with us to create the entry point. They made it possible for those 300 people, nurses, doctors, truck drivers, electricians, crane operators, experts at picking up debris. There's a lot of debris to pick up in Puerto Rico. Yulene made it possible for them to be their better selves. For the young man from Fort Wayne, Indiana, who worked in a truck factory, who said to me, "I have never felt better about myself in my entire life," when he got off the plane back from Puerto Rico. Right? For the electricians who I watched turn on the generator that powered the senior citizens' home 5 miles out of San Juan 2 weeks after the storm, so that it was possible in bright lights to tend the wounds of people who were literally bleeding and had been bleeding for 2 weeks. Yulene made that possible, personally. She was on the phone, working out the details of how to get people down there. But that is not all. When we arrived in San Juan, we came into a situation that you should pray you never find yourself in, which is that we were in a major metropolitan area where there was no water. And what does that mean? It's terrifying. It's terrifying to be in such a place. And we were the favored few because we were in this compound where there was a warehouse full of water. But even so, there were all kinds of people controlling it and all this kind of stuff. And we had 300 people who'd been flying all day and had no water. How do we get the water? We found Mayor Yulene, who was living in the warehouse with her family and was sitting with her aides at midnight, and she'd been doing that for 2 weeks. We just showed up. She'd been doing it for 2 weeks. We found Mayor Yulene. She was working at midnight in the warehouse, and she and I personally pulled the water pallets out of the warehouse and whatever we could find in these freezer trucks, and handed it out to people. Now, we just happened to be there that night. The person we're about to give this award to, she'd been doing that round the clock until we showed up, and I believe she's probably been doing it since. There were no cameras, there was nobody there, there was just us in the middle of the night pulling pallets out of a freezer truck. That is the person that I am honored to introduce to receive the Truth-Telling Prize.